The dining room is a place where families and friends come together to share meals and create cherished memories. It is a space that encourages togetherness and meaningful conversations, so creating an inviting ambience is key. If you've been keeping up with our home makeover series, you'll know that we recently moved into a new house and have been slowly decorating it over the past year. We've already tackled our home office and design studio and have completed a budget-friendly makeover for our entryway. This video is the fourth episode of the series where I'll be transforming the dining area. Stay tuned until the end to get a peek of what's to come. Our dining area is quite compact, measuring 3.6 by 2.4 meters, which made our options for furniture arrangements quite limited. What made it even more difficult was the fact that there were windows, French doors, and doorways leading to other areas on 3 out of the 4 walls. This meant that unless we planned to get a very compact table, the dining area had to be arranged horizontally along the only empty wall. Otherwise, there won't be enough clearance to get in and out of the chair. We initially had this area temporarily furnished with our old dining table and random chairs, but we know that a traditional 4-chair setup doesn't work here. It blocked a clear path from the kitchen to the alfresco area, which was a problem as we're constantly using our kitchen, making home-cooked meals and grilling on our outdoor Weber barbecue at the same time. Having to dodge the table every time we wanted to go to the alfresco area was really annoying. With these challenges in mind, my idea was to design a dining banquette as we love the intimacy and comfort they provide, and it would also, more importantly, allow us to push the dining table closer to the wall, leaving a clearer path. As with all of my makeover projects, I like to use Notion to plan and store all of the information in one place, which you'll see me use throughout this video. This helps keep information organized and also allows me to make better decisions that is in line with the looks and requirements, as well as keeping track of the project budget. Notion also makes it easy to collaborate with friends and family, so you can share ideas and work together on your home. The beauty about Notion is that you can customize it to whatever you need, to the point where we run almost all our business and our whole YouTube content system in Notion. Thanks to Notion for sponsoring this video. In our old apartment, we had a long Besta unit in the living area that we disassembled. We sold most of it on Facebook Marketplace, but still had 2 leftover units which I thought would work well as a frame for the dining bench. I then ordered another Besta frame and white Besta doors from IKEA to make it a 1.8 meters long unit. My vision was to add a timber panel on top with a custom-made bench cushion. I decided to add a dressed timber base to these units instead of IKEA legs, as it would distribute the weight more evenly and provide better support. We sourced the timber from our local Bunnings and had them cut to size in store, just a few centimeters shorter than the unit itself to simulate a recessed toe kick. If you're doing something similar, remember to check the timber in person, as some of them can be extremely warped, which makes it totally unusable. I painted the outside of the timbers in white so that it blends in nicely with the cabinets. Once the paint dried, I brought them inside and attached some L brackets to form the base of the bench. If you're going to take on a similar project, I'll suggest drilling a pallet hole first to prevent the wood from splitting. But if you're using pine wood like me, you could easily get away without it as it is such a soft timber. After the base was complete, I placed the Besta units on top, screwed them into the base and into each other to make sure they would stay in place. I got a solid timber panel for the top to help distribute the weight, but due to my laziness, I decided to just paint the front and side that will be visible. I opted for drawers instead of swinging doors as it would be easier to operate considering that a table was going in front of the bench. The storage space would also be a great addition for infrequently used items. I then placed the timber panel on top and screwed it in from underneath the top frame to keep it in place. In the meantime, we had a custom cushion made with Warwick Fabric, a durable blend of cotton and polyester in chambray ink. One small problem was that the cushion slid about on top of the timber panel, but I didn't want to glue it down permanently. Instead, I used a rug gripper tape on the timber panel which worked like a charm. The cushion completely stays in place now, and we can remove them or flip them around should we need to. We only need a table that will sit 4, so a 160 cm dining table was the best option. When sourcing furniture pieces, I always take the time to shop around and bookmark anything interesting that I come across, so I don't have to decide on the fly. This allows me to see what is available out there, have it all bookmarked into one single dashboard, which I can then mix and match with just the pieces that I like from various different places. Sourcing always takes the most time, but doing this guarantees that I'm working with pieces that I like at a price point I'm comfortable at, all the while having a unique combination that would otherwise not be possible had I just pressured myself to pick everything on the fly. If you're currently decorating your home but not sure where to shop for unique pieces, check out our mega shopping list. We've curated a database that features over 300 stores that you can filter based on categories, country, and price point so you can find what you need to decorate your home. After shortlisting a few tables at various price points, we ended up with this beautiful table from Cutlery, which was made in collaboration with British designer James Harrison. What really struck me about this table were the beautiful chevron patterns on its surface. The camera really doesn't do it justice. It looks even better in real life. Assembly was pretty straightforward, albeit a little tricky. The most difficult part was screwing in the connecting bar and the legs while making sure the legs were facing the right way as they were tapered. We then had to secure the whole thing with a cross brace for extra stability. We paired the table with 2 reproductions of the famous Hoffmann 811 chairs, in this beautiful walnut stain. I love their simple wooden design with woven cane backrest that adds to a timeless chic European cafe feel to the space. After residing in the space for a couple of weeks, we realized that the dining area was generously bathed in morning sunlight. While natural light is fantastic, there was just too much, so we needed to install some curtains. I didn't want to spend too much as we still had plenty of rooms left to furnish. I came up with the idea of reusing the sheer curtains from the living area in our old apartment, but we needed to modify them as they were originally custom made on a track. Luckily, our ceilings in this space are 2.6 meter high, which is 30 centimeters shorter than our old apartment ceilings. For the rod, I found an adjustable one on sale from Amazon and thought it'll pair perfectly with the ceramic curtain rings from IKEA. The only problem was the color, as I wanted something that looked a bit worn like a bronze finish, and these were black. I ended up buying a can of bronze spray paint and sprayed both the rod and the rings quite sparingly to achieve the worn look. The key here is to spray them just enough so that some of the black still show and give a nice contrast. Installing curtain rods is always difficult, especially if they are 3.5 meters long. I needed to get it level and secure it in a way that would withstand substantial weight. I always recommend using a stud finder and a laser level tool for this, as it will save you so much time and headache down the line. They make it so much easier to find the studs and also help you install the brackets completely level. Once the brackets were up, I simply threaded on the curtains, popped in the rods, and attached the end caps. One small hack that we use here was folding the top of the curtain down and keeping it in place with clips instead of permanently hemming them or using hemming tape on the bottom. This meant that we could retain the perfectly sewn hem and still have the curtains at the desired float length. The downside is that rings are not as smooth as tracks, and they do look a bit messier. One final thing that was missing is a back cushion for the dining banquette. I didn't want to make anything custom or spend too much on this, but leaning on a wall was not comfortable. A week before Christmas, I found a king-size headboard on sale, which then goes perfectly behind the bench, and it looks like it was custom made for it. If you've been following me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with good lighting. I actually considered a couple of pendants and wall sconces, all of which I've bookmarked in my furnishing schedule. But we didn't find anything suitable, so we decided to just swap out the ceiling lights with Hue smart lights, which can be controlled with this little dial depending on our mood. That is until recently, I saw IKEA launch a new retro line which includes some beautiful pendants. I decided to get the Dykarlocka pendant shade combined with the classic white cord from IKEA. In order to avoid electrical works that will eat into our budget, since I've been able to keep track of all of it through the Notion furnishing schedule, I wanted to reuse the cutout on the ceiling, but that was made for a recessed downlight. After some research, I found this company called Snap Lighting, who produces this innovative housing which allows you to replace your downlights with pendants. Installation is surprisingly really easy. Take out your downlight, plug in the new light, snap them in, and you have the pendant wire ready. All it takes is roughly 2 minutes and no tools required, as it uses a similar system to a typical recessed downlight. I then installed the shades and fit the pendant with a Phillips Hue bolt. The great thing about this system is that you can also adjust the drop of the pendant very easily, which means it can work with various ceiling heights and use cases. The Dykarlocka pendant shines here, and I especially like the fact that it is made out of plywood covered in oak veneer, which gives it the texture that looks really nice up close. Definitely a great deal for under $70. I also added an ambient floor lamp in bronze with linen shade on the other corner to evenly distribute light across the room. It is simple, but we can easily change the ambience of the room to suit our needs. As a finishing touch, I adorned the blank wall with a softly painted landscape artwork by artist Pamela Munger. But we quickly realized that it actually looks nicer by the staircase, and decided to swap the two artworks. I might move this to another room and get a more colorful one here, but for now it does the job. I also added a simple arrangement on an oak wooden tray which I got from MUJI, which helps in keeping things organized. While this dining setup is not conventional, it works really well for our use case as it frees up the middle of the room to allow us space moving in and out from the kitchen to the outdoor barbecue. I also found the additional storage space to be really useful as we can store additional supplies like linens, tissues, and supplements that are taken after meals. Over the next few months, I'll continue working on our new home with the bedroom coming up in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the previous 3 episodes of this home makeover. I'll also link all the furniture, materials, and decor I use in the dining room in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.